You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Three races down, 7 to go. 12 drivers move on. After that, nobody knows.
Oh, big contact with Mark McCreary wins here at Rockingham.
Like I said before, if you want it here, you need to take it. Otherwise, be taken out.
But something that wasn't an unforced error, Jake Waltman has been parked for the night.
There's no such thing as the right place at the right time. You gotta grind to dine at the top.
Matt Garrett side by side for the race lead, but here comes Thomas Aaron with a run.
But seats at the table are disappearing, so your chances are dwindling.
Thomas Aaron wins the final cutoff race here in Indianapolis. Thomas Aaron through.
Time to find another gear before supper gets cold. This is ThunderClap. Now let the thunder roll.
The last 3 weeks in the first round of the playoffs are done and dusted, and for the next 3 weeks we will determine who will head into the round of 8, and that journey begins right here at Michigan International Speedway. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso. As always, Tony, We thought the intensity was going to come out at Indianapolis last week, and boy, oh boy, did it.
It did, Frank, and to be able to cut heads at one of the most famed tracks in the world is nothing short of amazing. And then now we come here to race number 1 of round number 2, and we're at the House of the Penske Belt once again here in the trucks. And from what I've been seeing here tonight so far, we're going to be in store for exactly what we've come to expect from a place like Michigan. Multi-groove racing, slingshot passes are going to be at a premium here tonight, and I'm expecting a slugfest to figure out who's going to move on from the round of 12 to the grade 8.
And this is a round of big racetracks here. We have the trucks in here at Michigan for round number 1, the Xfinity cars at iRacing Super Speedway next week, and then the next-gen cars. You thought cutting down the field at Indianapolis was special. We cut the field down at Darlington this round here, so it is going to be quite a run here in this stage. A lot of big tracks, a lot of wide open racing, which means anything can happen.
And the biggest thing is you need to get that win out of the way early to guarantee your spot in the round of 8, because nobody wants to be going into Darlington behind the 8 ball knowing that you need a good run at one of the trickiest tracks in all of iRacing to do well at.
Absolutely. We'll take a look at the point standings here going into tonight's race. The points have been reset. The top 12 drivers in the championship have been jumped up to 4,000 points, and then bonus points with stage wins and race wins have gone on from there. The drivers that did not make it to this round have been reverted back to their old points and will now fight for best of the rest starting from 13th. So Ryan Truex comes into this round with a 10-point lead in the championship over Roger DeBold. Thomas Aaron 4 points behind. Mark McCreary comes in 2 further points behind Thomas Aaron. Greg Vial, Steven Sharik, Ryan Zunk, Greg McConey, Seth Gedgedoris, James Sharik, Scott Formosa, and J.D. Woodward are the guys that are advancing into this round of the playoffs.
They are, and you take a look at the guys that just missed the cut last week. Most notably, the 06 Jake Waltman. He's had problems. And he's been caught up in other people's dumpster fires, and he's driven angry for a lot of this season. And unfortunately for him, it didn't work out here in the playoffs so far. But those guys that did make it, that is a strong 12 truck field, or 12 car field, 12 driver field, however you want to refer to it. And moving forward through the rest of the season, we thought it was intense in the first round. The aggression now is ramped up because you can't afford a bad race now.
Oh, absolutely not. As we get into the qualifying session here, as we've done a full aerial lap of Michigan at this point, we're now going to go into the qualifying session here. 10 minutes, as always, for these guys here in qualifying, and it will kick off with James and Steven Sharik, it would appear, would be the first 2 drivers out onto the racetrack. There is the 37 of James Sharik. Steven Sharik not that far behind him. Anthony Burleson out on track as well, as is last week's winner, Thomas Aaron. Tyler Chalk has jumped out onto pit road. Dustin Stallings on the track as well. A lot of guys getting set to roll off here. A little less than half of what we've got, but still a decent amount of drivers here at the beginning of this 10-minute qualifying session.
And this is going to be a good one. This is going to be one of those tracks that you're probably going to give it away on your first lap to get that thing wound up, because it takes about a lap to get the rubber band stretched tight enough to really drive these trucks around here, mostly because of the aerodynamic factor. I mean, these trucks punch one of the largest holes in the air of anything in iRacing, so it's very difficult. Horsepower is at a premium here tonight, and anybody that can get this thing figured it out quick, that's what it's going to be, and you're going to need to be up on your game tonight.
If you want a super speedway style race that is not at Daytona or Talladega, Trucks at Michigan is the next closest thing you can get, as we see Steven Sharik all the way down at the bottom line, all that on that yellow line there, which is not where you want to be here tonight. The fastest line is actually a little bit of a ways up from that. It's that seam, that very first seam. There is gradual banking down there. So that bottom line, where that 83 is right now, a little bit flatter than it is above that next seam.
Yeah, about a truck width and a half up off of that is where the progressive banking actually starts. And just like that, Thomas Aaron just laid one down. He went sub 40 here in solo qualifying. That's moving for a truck with no drafting help.
First lap and only lap for Thomas Aaron, a 39.86. Here's Steven Sharik. 40.04 on his first lap. It'll be a 41.5 on his second lap here, so he will not advance. Tyler Chalk coming across.
And it's an interesting note on Chalk's truck. They had to go to the backup truck for that team, and unfortunately, they didn't get the number one on that 31. So driving a 3, but being scored as a 31 here tonight.
It's Ryan Zunk, one of the playoff contenders. Zunk with a 40.05 on his lap. Good enough for 6th position. Jake Waltman coming down to the line. Waltman 13th quickest on his first lap. He will go 3rd quickest, a 40.02. Reed Foley on his second lap. Foley with a number change as well. He kept the 1, but puts a 5 behind it. He will jump up to second, a 39.97.
Man coming into tonight 10th in points. No, the 47 of J.D. Woodward out on his first flyer right now, coming through 3 and 4, down onto the front chute here, right down onto the apron, taking the short way around. First lap for Woodward. He's still trying to get that truck wound up. He's going to slide in 16th currently.
40.44 was the first time for J.D. Woodward. Second slowest of drivers that actually have taken a time. Seth Gadjadoris coming out of turn 4 on his second lap. 15th quickest his first lap at a 41.3. We'll see what he can do this time. 40.08 for Seth. Moves him up to 10th in that Mobil 1 Ford F-150. J.D. Woodward crossing the line. A little bit of a bounce over that bump there, and Woodward goes up to 9th at a 40.05.
Mark McCreary out on track in the 88. He's coming down the back straight with a good head of steam right now.
How's your close-up?
Running a little bit wider than we've seen a lot of guys run, trying to carry the speed onto the front chute. I think he's going to throw away this first lap and really go after it on the second lap, as Matt Garrett brings the number 3 up to 6 quick so far.
Solid lap for him. Steven Leszczynski coming out of turn 4 on his second lap. We'll see what he can do here. And for Leszczynski, it will be 12th, a 40.06. Seeing a lot of very similar times from 3rd all the way down to 15th, separated by 7 1/1000ths of a second. Oh, by the way.
Keepers.
Matt Garrett crossing the line, 6th his first lap, 3rd his second, a 40 even. For Garrett, Mark McCreary goes 13th quickest on his second lap. Tommy Allen Jr. brushed the wall on his first lap, did not get it to count. So this will be his... Go ahead.
Justin Clapper on his second flyer right now. The first one going to slot him into 22nd quick. Well, we've seen a lot of guys throw away the first lap and use the second lap as the lap. As Clapper with a good head of steam going into 3 and 4, right down about a seam up off the apron. And, that's going to be key here, is he's going to bring it down now, right down to the apron, cross the stripe for Clapper. Lap 2 does improve, not by much, though, as Greg McConey on his first lap goes up to 15th quick.
McConey, the last of the playoff contenders to lay down a qualifying time. Tommy Allen Jr. went 10th on his second lap. As Tony mentioned, Clapper 22nd. Only Daniel Silvestri and Vince Burns have not put down qualifying times here in this session. Still 3 minutes to go. Plenty of time for those two. As McConey dives to the bottom, was slower on the first half of the lap, slower on the second half as well. So McConey will clock in the 15th position. Greg Vielle, James Sharik, Roger DeBold, and Greg McConey, I believe, the 4 slowest of the playoff qualifiers. Actually, take that back. Seth Gadjidoris. So Seth Gadjidoris, Roger DeBold, James Sharik, and Greg Vielle will be starting off the lowest positions of the playoff drivers. Still with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in this qualifying session. Daniel Silvestri and Vince Burns still yet to qualify. 26 drivers set to take the green flag here tonight. Looking through, no Ryan Truex. Naturally, with his real-world racing, not able to make it for every one of the races. Also, I'm noticing Scott Formosa not here, one of the playoff contenders.
He's in 7th.
I'll be over here if you need me.
Yeah, no, Formosa is here. He's currently sitting 7th quick as time's running out. If you want to get a flyer in, just about enough time to get one and done, as Silvestri is now sitting on the end of pit road, waiting on him to fire one off, as he and Vince Burns, the only two that have yet to lay a time, as Silvestri is rolling it.
I don't think he's going to be able to get a lap in because, again, 40 seconds around here. He would have needed to be off of pit road with about a minute and a half to go if he wanted to make sure he was going to be safe.
Yeah, he's not going to get it at this point,
yeah,
as there's only 1 minute left, and he's just on the back straightaway.
This is a scouting lap for him at this point. The good old-fashioned qualifying cider lap.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he will be 8 seconds short of actually completing a lap around here. So he'll get to about 3 and 4, but nothing's going to count here.
Unfortunately not. And, he wanted to reset before qualifying, and unfortunately just was not able to get it logged back in time to lay one down. So Silvestri and Vince Burns are both going to be starting shotgun on this 26 truck field here tonight at Michigan.
Noted the incredible run of luck that Daniel Silvestri has had this season. 6 races entered, 4 wins for that number 97 team. And we'll get into a little bit more of what's to come here in tonight's race. But first, we throw it out to Terry Adams for tonight's national anthem. Back here at the Michigan International Speedway. Thank you very much, Terry Adams, as always, for that national anthem that we play before every single race during these warm-up sessions here. Once again, just a reminder of the drivers who are running for the championship here. Ryan Truex, who is not here, Roger DeBold, Thomas Aaron, Mark McCrary, Greg Vial, Steven Sharik, Ryan Zunk, Greg McConey, Seth Gedgedoris, James Sharik, Scott Formosa, who very much is here, and J.D. Woodward in the fight for the championship. You'll see names highlighted in gold at the top of the screen during the broadcast tonight. Those are the drivers. Easy look at the drivers who are running for the championship, as we have 2 minutes of warm-up time still left to go here before we get ready to roll for tonight's race. And Tony, big racetracks means a lot of close action, and that just means these next 2 races especially are just pure wild card races.
They are, and the fact that they're running them back-to-back, that means that, there's a lot of guys looking to play spoiler right now. There's a lot of guys that are looking to punch their ticket into the round of 8, and we're going to see some wild times over the next 2 weeks because, like we mentioned earlier, nobody wants to be going into Darlington behind the 8 ball.
Absolutely not. As Greg Vial currently atop the timesheet in that number 26 right there. He was the slowest of the qualifiers, but in his position where he's at right now, as my overlay once again hates me.
But Frank, while you're sorting through those problems, I do want to mention that I am very excited for this week here on Sim Racing Media, as we've got 2 leagues returning and 1 league starting tomorrow with the first part of the triple header that we're going to see tomorrow night. As
is it a triple or a double?
I think it's now a triple with everything that's going on. Let me just double check that math.
Because the 2 races, the 2 series, there's one making its debut tomorrow. And that would be, let me just...
No, you're right. It is the first part of the doubleheader tomorrow. It's the Shvenka E-Racing Championship. First round of the GT3 series at Suzuka. And that'll be about a 1:50 Eastern Time start on that one. And then the one that I know that we're both excited to have back in the Sim Racing Media family of broadcasts, Sim Racer's Edge returns for season 5, I'm sorry, right where everything started back at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana.
Yep, absolutely. And if you check out the link that we put in the live chat there to our Twitter page, there's a replay of that incredible final lap for the season opener. As we get set to go here for tonight's race, we will take a look at the grid. Starting on the pole will be Thomas Aaron with a time of 39.858. He really put one down, with Reed Foley starting next to him outside of row number 1. Matt Garrett and Jake Waltman will make up row 2, with Tyler Truex and Dustin Stallings in row 3. Scott Formosa and Steven Sharik make up row 4, with Tyler Chalk and Tommy Allen in row number 5. Row 6 will go to J.D. Woodward and Ryan Zunk. Row 7 will see Stephen Leszczynski and Mark McCrary.
Greg McConey and Seth Gadgedoris going to roll it off in row number 8. Row 9 sees Robert Walton and Roger DeBold. Anthony Burleson and Bobby Grant going to start from row number 10, with James Sharik and Justin Clapper starting in row 11. Row 12 gives us Greg Vial and David Hall, with Daniel Silvestri and Vince Burns starting shotgun on the field in the 13th row. So 26 trucks scheduled to go here, 100 laps of scheduled distance, and full fuel fill, but only 5 sets of tires to get it done with tonight. This is going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. We'll take a look at the weather conditions here for tonight's race. Just shy of 3 p.m. in sim time on this day. 81-degree ambient temperature. Tony, 116-degree track temperature. Boy, oh boy, it's a scorcher here today in the Irish Hills of Michigan.
It very much is. And, the fact that the track temperature is so high means when we do get into some side-by-side racing, as they try to go 2 and 3 wide through the sweeping corners here at Michigan, it's going to be a fun experience, especially if you're in the middle, because you're aiming and hoping that nobody gets into you as you're fighting to keep control of your truck.
As we had spoken about last week at Indianapolis with the litany of penalties that Jake Waltman has encountered over the course of this season, his qualifying position will not stand. He will have to go to the back on an EOL. But, Tony, we got 100 laps here at Michigan. Boy, it's going to be a night.
It absolutely is, Frank. And Thomas Aaron picking up right where he left off last week. As the field works its way out of turn number 4, the only thing he's left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some stew because it's time to get it on in the Irish Hills. Race fans, it's show time.
Green flag is out for the first of 100 laps here at Michigan. Immediately, Reed Foley dumps in behind the 93 of Thomas Aaron as these drivers fan out going through turn number 1. Foley looking for the lead already.
Foley down on the low side in that Toyota as Thomas Aaron Chevy trying to keep it wound up on the top side. Drag race down to 3M back straightaway here at Michigan. Still 2 wide behind him, as well as Dustin Stallings and Matt Garrett going after each other. Foley now has the nose out front through 3 and 4. Aaron going to try to get the run off of Forrest. Foley taking the short way around, has the advantage right now in the 15. Lap 1 now in the books, and give it to Foley.
Reed Foley just barely clinching that first lap lead. Looking a little bit further back around the 47. Boy, oh boy, that's getting close. The 80 of Scott Formosa on the outside line. The 47 of J.D. Woodward, who we ride on board with now. Well, that's peculiar.
Battle for the lead up in front as Aaron crosses Foley over. He's got the 5 Stallings with him up there. As Aaron going to lead lap number 2, all important bonus point moving forward. Stallings trying to make some positions up as well as they're 2 wide behind him. And Steven Sharik. Sorry, that's Tyler Truax on the low side.
Five of Dustin Stallings in that Expedia number 5. Looking to the inside, a big run to the inside. And this is going to be one of those races where it is going to be very difficult to maintain a lead with the draft being here and with how wide this racetrack is and the runs you can get. Big block by Thomas Aaron, keeping Reed Foley at bay in the number 15. As that Sirius XM machine heads to the inside line, looking to get the lead again.
Foley going to the inside as Stallings throws a big block on Steven Sharik coming through 1 and 2. Sharik all over the back bumper of Stallings now as it's a 3-truck tango down the back straightaway on the low side. We got
contact.
trouble into the wall.
It's Dustin Stallings into the outside wall, the 31 of Tyler Chalk as well. There's the 31 of Chalk.
Good grief.
And at least from the angle that we had, it looked as though the 5 thought he was clear and actually wasn't.
Unfortunately not. And it was a 3-wide situation, and Garrett catching a piece of that one. The 31 catches a piece of it as well as Tyler Chalk goes into the wall.
See what happened here. Dustin Stallings, there he is on the bottom in that number 5, pushing Reed Foley. Starting to fall back a little bit. Oh, this is a lap earlier. Pardon me. Oh,
it's one of those situations that we see a lot, especially on plate tracks, where you don't want to be pushing the pusher. And unfortunately for Stallings, he was the meat in that sandwich of being pushed while trying to push. As soon as he lifted off to give clearance going into 3, just got turned from behind.
And that is what it was. It was the 83 of Steven Sharik giving a push to that 5 and sending him sideways. Let's see it from a little bit better of an angle here. Stallings is trying to give a push to the 15, gets off of him, and then just 83 jacks him up right into the side of the 3 of Garrett. The 61 has nowhere to go. Neither does the 31. And that will be caution number 1. Five, 3, 5, 31, and 69, and 83 involved in that incident. See drivers coming down pit road. Reed Foley out in front of the field. Stage breaks here tonight, as we have had all season long. We have 2 here tonight. Stage breaks will be at the completion of laps 20 and 40. So it'll be a 20-lap opening stage, about a 15-lap second stage, and then a 55-lap run to the finish.
Looking forward to that one. As I was listening in on in-sim chatter with Race Control, they're judging that one just to be one of those racing incidences caused mostly by the draft package that these trucks have right now. No malice intended for that one, and no penalties will be handed out.
If we're going to start, and that's, I think, is a very good precedent for Justin White, who's in Race Control, to set, because if we're going to start penalizing people for bump drafting going into iRacing Super Speedway next week, boy, oh boy, no one's going to want to push each other.
No thanks. I'll sit this one out, boys. Thanks anyways. Good grief. Yeah, no, we definitely can't. And you're right. It's a perfect time to set that precedent, especially considering that we are deep into the playoffs. We're round number 2, race number 1 here, the round of 12. And, I just got a good look at Roger DeBold's truck tonight. I'm actually digging the way that Ford looks.
That L&K Edits machine. Matt really does have a little bit of an underrated feel to it, especially with the way that red pops off. That's a very nice look for that 38.
It is at that, but I'm seeing a completely different truck than you are, I think, my friend. Let me refresh my trading paints. Yeah, you need to refresh yours because he's got it painted up like an old fighter plane. Okay.
I find it interesting because I refresh it 1,000 times and it still shows the same stuff for me. Like J.D. Woodward has shown off that same Star Wars Xfinity car since Dover, and I've reset my trading paints 1,000 times.
Well, as long as we got the numbers right and we can tell who's who,
exactly.
Who's who will be okay. As the chase truck peels on off, Reed Foley going to lead him into the Geico restart zone. Waits about halfway, pulls the trigger, and Steven Sharik able to go with him as he's now putting Thomas Aaron under heavy pressure for second.
If anyone in the chat knows, by the way, why Trading Paints does that, it doesn't matter how many times you refresh it, it doesn't show the right paint scheme for some people. Please let me know. Maybe I can fix something.
I'll explain it to you after the race.
Oh, goody. As that's Ryan Zunk in that Mountain Dew number 23 machine. On the outside line, Mark McCreary, the winner of the last truck race, and clinched himself into this round very early on at Rockingham. First race of the playoffs, right to his inside.
Battle for third, hot and heavy with J.D. Woodward and Steven Sharik going door to door. Woodward going to get the pull down the front chute here, as don't look now, but that's Scott Famosa in the 80 trying to make some headway behind him.
If anyone was wondering why I was not a fan of C-Fixed at this racetrack, this is exactly why. It's just you do not have a second to breathe as, boy, Roger DeBold and Scott Formosa getting very close coming out of turn 2. The 80 on the inside, the 38 on the outside.
That could have ended about 8 different kinds of poorly. Luckily, everybody keeps them pointed in the right direction. And don't look now, but that's Greg McConey trying to make a third line coming through 3 and 4.
McConey looking to that high line on the wall there, looking to get around Seth Gadjadouras. That's for 9th. Right there, that white and yellow machine. McConey way up to that outside. So is Ryan Zunk out there as well. Roger DeBolt there trying to squeeze out Steven Sharik, and that is a very, very difficult move to try to pull off if you're the 38 of Roger DeBolt, because these cars do tend to funnel up towards the wall coming out of turn 2. Makes it a very, very awkward spot for the car in the middle as the caution has come out.
Oh, no. What just happened to Jake Waltman?
I'm not sure. He's around backwards. This is him in turn 3 right here in the 06. Damage on the middle of the right side as well as the rear in that bush number 06, and we'll try to try to figure out what happened here. He's coming through 1 and 2, trying to get around Vince Burns in the 55. Waltman trying to side draft, it would appear, and clips the side of the 55. Jump on board and see what happened here, well, at least from Waltman's point of view. See if that was net code or not. Coming out of turn 2. Again, we had mentioned prior to the race the litany of penalties, and I can't, riding on board with him, I can't really put that on him. It looked like the 55 may have come down a little bit.
The boys in the chopper got a good view of it. Focus on the 66 of Robert Walton and take a look at where those two trucks are, and you can tell what took place there. And I've got the in-sim chatter turned on so I can hear race control. But this is going to be one that this could possibly be a season ender.
This is close here. See down the back straightaway. Moving up. The 55. See, I'm seeing the 55 move down off that line just a little bit. And the 06 just trying to side draft going into the corner. There was really no room for anything like that to happen.
Unfortunately not. And, you know, in my opinion, it was one of those racing deals as, you know, Jake was coming up and the 55 was coming down. Here we go.
Tony's getting the official word here on that incident from Justin White right now. And again, we've noted the penalty issues that the 06 has had this season, and the massive penalty that was handed down after Road America, where he's got one incident the remainder of the season, and then the next incident that he causes, he's done for the year after running into a multitude of problems this season.
They are putting that on the 55,
okay,
saying that he came down more than Waltman came up.
And it's...
And that's what I was worried about. I wasn't sure which way that one was going to go. That's why I said, you know, this could have been a season ender. Luckily, it's not, but that's a bullet dodged by the 06.
We'll look at it from the chopper view again here, and we'll look at it from Vince Burns. It's really helpful that he's actually on the seam here, because you can see, look, he's got the middle of the car is on the seam, and then he starts drifting down to get into the corner. It's not as though he was drifting down for no reason.
Right.
He was drifting down to get into the corner, but with him being on the seam the way he was, you can see that truck start to drift down.
Second call tonight, Justin White over in race control has gotten to perfection. And hats off to him for doing this all season. Justin White is one of the unsung heroes of this league.
Absolutely. As
I wouldn't want to do it, I'll tell you that.
yeah. He's been quite interesting this season, and he's gotten, I would say, about 90% of the calls correct. As Reed Foley getting set to restart this race. There will be 7 laps to go before we hit the first stage break. As there goes the 15, we are racing again, working lap 14 of 100.
J.D. Woodward on the attack again, trying to wrestle second place away from Thomas Aaron. Steven Sharik right there with him as Roger DeBold has gotten a little bit of a separation between himself and the 80 of Scott Famosa as they're trying to get single filed out as quickly as they can. But right now, Ryan Zunk is working on Mark McCrary back there as here comes Sharik to the inside of Woodward down the backstretch.
Yep, Sharik had a big moment there, had to let off as Woodward was coming out of turn 2, whether Sharik wanted him to or not, as we are just about 3 wide for the race lead and just a big enough hole for Thomas Aaron to slide in behind Reed Foley for second.
As it's pandemonium at the front of the speed. Wow, Woodward just bombed it going into 1. Going to try to get the clear. Does have the clear momentarily as here comes Aaron back on the top side. Woodward giving him plenty of room. Throw a blanket over your top 10 right now, and your guess is as good as mine.
It was Greg McConey with a big bobble there. He's that 4th truck on the outside line in number 12. Had a big wiggle coming out of turn 2. Ryan Zunk hitting the apron going into 3, sliding him up the racetrack.
Boy,
you want to tell me the intensity isn't there?
Oh, it's definitely there. As 2 of your biggest movers so far are the 38 of DeBold and the 11 of McConey. The 38 of DeBold and the 12 of McConey. DeBold up 15. McConey's currently sitting plus 12.
J.D. Woodward had a big wiggle as well there going into turn 1, almost moved up into the side of the 80 of Scott Formosa. Now that slid him all the way back to 9th. Ryan Zunk to the outside of him. Mark McCrary looking to the inside.
McCrary trying to make something happen. Currently has the final spot in the top 10. Wants to get a little bit more bonus point action going on as this stage is quickly coming to an end.
Roger DeBold looking to the inside. Greg McConey following him through on that inside, looking to usher Thomas Aaron out of that second position. Can't quite do it, though. Still side by side in the mid-pack here. That's right around the 26 of Greg Vielle, that white machine on the outside line. 21 of David Hall there as well. So is the 79 of Anthony Burleson. Daniel Silvestri starting to work his way forward in that number 97 Sweet Tarts Toyota. Reed Foley still out in front. 3 laps to go until the end of the stage.
2 wide behind him, door to door with DeBold and Aaron, the battle for second, as McConey looking to get some clean air to the radiator of that truck. And, it's kind of refreshing to see some Fords and some Chevys up towards the front of a race where the other truck league I do weekly, it's mostly Toyotas that are running
Toyota
quick.
Central.
Huh?
Toyota Central.
Yeah, it is. But right now, Foley holding court in that Toyota up at the front of this piece. The Chevy of Aaron followed by 3 Fords of McConey, DeBold, and Sharik. That is your top 5 as Famosa trying to gather something up as he's following Sharik right now, almost in a 3-wide situation himself back there for 6.
Oh, Steven Sharik almost into the fence.
Ouch.
The 14 of Grant also. J.D. Woodward had to swing way down to the inside to keep from hitting them.
And Sharik going to rebound as he's throwing to the inside of DeBold now, going through 3 and 4.
Hasn't really cared much about that, has he? Just went
not
right to
really.
the inside, 3 wide. 1 more lap to go here in the stage. Reed Foley out in front.
Aaron was looking to the inside. Now McConey looking to the top shelf. DeBold looking to go with his fellow Ford stablemate. As they come down the back straightaway, Foley's going to drop down to try to break the draft of everybody. They're trying to do the Indy Snake here at Michigan. not quite as effective as here comes McConey for the lead.
Big dive by Greg McConey, looking to get the race, looking to get the first stage victory. Both trucks pushing up, Foley all the way out to the wall. McConey getting pushed by Thomas Aaron, coming to the line. It will be Reed Foley taking the first stage here at Michigan, and what a run it was.
Foley, McConey, Aaron, DeBold, Formosa, Sharik, Gadjadoris, Woodward, Vial, and Bobby Grant getting the last bonus point for stage 1. But what a finish to that first stage we just saw. Good grief. If that's any indication, Frank, of what we're going to see for the rest of this race, I'm going to need a Valium.
Reed Foley takes stage number 1 here from Michigan. You're watching the first race of the round of 12 here for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, are you tired of your dog dragging in mud into your house? You got water laying in your yard? There's going to be a lot more water laying this spring. Now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342, and we'll be glad to take care of all your outdoor drainage needs.
Oh, you are not, you're not alone, no. Oh, you are not, you're not alone. You are not, you're not alone.
Thanks again, guys, for coming out for demo day here at Chaladon and just going over hip start and how it's going to improve your swing. Hip start is really a key factor in getting that proper downswing. The beauty of hip start is you can change your swing in less than an hour. Just put hip start on and you're going to notice a difference right away.
So before I was introduced to the hip start, my shots were kind of all over the place. Using the hip start, I definitely noticed more consistency and getting that great tactile feedback, knowing when the proper moment to snap your hits has really helped with getting my shot a lot more consistent. And I just feel more confident whenever I go out to the golf course with my friends.
Before you even grab a club out of your bag, we're using hip start to warm up. Put it on and get that feel and just fire the hips. Make sure that hip's turning and make sure hips firing through with hip start.
I'm able to hit the ball a lot straighter and a lot farther, and more importantly, consistently hit the ball. What I've seen today, I personally live by and swear by the hip start.
Back here to the Michigan International Speedway for race number 1 of the round of 12 in the playoffs. Reed Foley in the 15, your opening stage winner, and also 2-tire taker here on this first round of pit stops. Daniel Silvestri doing the same in the 97. That will move him up to the inside line on the second row. Everybody else has taken 4, so we will now see how much those left sides really did wear out.
And we got 2 Toyotas on the inside and 3 Fords on the outside. So this is going to be an interesting restart. Are the stablemates going to work with each other as effectively as they possibly could? We're about to find out as the pace truck getting ready to peel on off, coming out of turn number 4. There it goes, and here we go. As Foley going to have the button as they go into the Geico restart zone one more time. Here we go. You can see the painting on the inside and the outside walls. Here we go. Back under green.
Great restart there for Reed Foley. Side by side all the way through the field, as you would imagine. Daniel Silvestri not quite clear on the outside line, as both Greg McConey and Roger DeBold still there. Reed Foley pushing up the racetrack. He's going to jump up in front of the 12 and bottleneck that outside line up, as you saw the shot that McConey just gave Foley.
Just a beep from the chrome horn is McConey
big sideways
corner entry. We're 4 wide.
Scott Formosa around in
JD
the
Woodward
80.
the other one.
Oh, hard hits. Formosa upside down. 47 of Woodward to 66. James Sharik, Tyler Truex. There's Woodward. Crab walking bad. And as you would imagine, there's a lot to dissect. We saw that 80 sideways going into the corner. Just never got it straightened back out. There you see Formosa gets a little bit loose in front of the 23 of Zunk. Zunk makes contact. There's the 47. Stallings gets through. Ooh. Hard shot from Tyler Truex. 37 around as well.
Oh. Watch that from Jake Waltman's onboard. That was, oh my goodness.
Right on board with JD Woodward first. Woodward going into the corner. Starting to back off, locked it down, and just slowly pushed him over. And then he gets hit hard by Robert Walton. Do as you said now. We'll go on board with the 06 of Jake Waltman. It's Tyler Truex in front of him. He'll be a big part of this. So will Robert Walton, for that matter. Slides through. Yay! And then everything that happened behind him.
I'll be right back.
One more time from Scott Formosa. Gets loose, tries to correct, couldn't correct. There's the hit from Woodward, and there's the hit from Walton. A big incident with a lot of playoff implications. James Sharik, Ryan Zunk, JD Woodward, and Scott Formosa, all playoff drivers involved in that incident. So a quarter of the playoff field with some form of involvement in that incident, and the 23 of Ryan Zunk, by far and away the least penalty for being involved in that.
Wow.
Just a little bit of side-by-side contact with Formosa, and that was about it.
I just received word from the tower. Jake Waltman has been parked for the remainder of the season and is now on at minimum a 15 race probation at the start of next season.
The only thing I can think of as to why
They called him for ARCA braking.
Yep, I was going to say not letting off to try to get through that wreck safely. I mean, he almost missed the thing, but that's race control's decision.
Yep, they have parked him. He is done for the remainder of this season. And that's what I said. When I said, oh my, I'll be right back, I went up and confirmed with Justin White that unfortunately, that's it, game over. And J.D. Woodward has just put it on the hauler.
So two playoff drivers out. Scott Formosa done, and now J.D. Woodward done as well. Stephen Leschinski a couple of laps down after receiving a throughput during the stage break, as Reed Foley jumps back on the loud pedal, and we are racing again here at Michigan. Daniel Silvestri jumps down to the inside to block off Greg McConey, and we are off and rolling again.
2 Toyotas, a couple of Fords, and a couple of Chevys up there at the front of this piece right now. As if you're Thomas Aaron, you're looking around, you're going, I've got nobody for help right now, as he's trying to work. Contact going into 3.
Yep, that's Thomas Aaron into the wall on the outside. And that's big damage for the 93 of Thomas Aaron. And this is what we were talking about, Tony, during pre-race, that this is a wild card race for these playoff guys. It's effectively 3 super speedway races, as we're 4 wide going into turn 1. Fortunately, it funnels down to side by side before we get there. McConey hits the 83. The 4 is in the fence, so is the 12.
And they're still 4 wide.
What in the world has happened here tonight? This
Drugs are bad,
I don't even know what to say.
We've got a battle for the lead heating up. Silvestri has gotten by Foley. Here comes DeBold to his inside now. Foley trapped on that outside lane, not where he wants to be. He's going to lose 2 of them here and drop all the way back to 3rd, as the 3 of these guys have really carved out a little gap for themselves, as David Hall has now been relegated up into 4th.
It's been advanced up into 4th, I would say. Relegated,
that's what I meant.
I think he's going down. Justin Clapper,
I'm sorry. I can't English today. I apologize.
Justin Clapper up to 7th. There you see him in the 63. Mark McCreary there as well. McConey, you see the little bit of right front damage on that number 12. I mean, it's been just a topsy-turvy second stage here. We're halfway through it. Stage break comes out at lap 40. Daniel Silvestri has had more than his fair share of time up at the front. Roger DeBold trying to take some of it away, as David Hall looks to the inside trying for second.
Hall with a good added steam there in that City Chevrolet number 21. Trying to make something happen as they're about to freight train the poor old Dan Silvestri now, as he's caught on the top shelf, as here comes Greg Vial as well, now all over the tailgate of the 97.
Roger DeBold, an all-important lap led there for the 38. The 15 of Reed Foley appears to be bailing out here. We see this a lot at super speedway races and big tracks. It starts to get a little bit too intense. You bail out, you go to the back of the line. Would appear to be what he's just done there. The stage 1 winner is David Hall, trying to get enough of a run to go for the lead here, working lap 33 of 100. Side by side between Greg Vial and Steven Sharik. Justin Clapper looking to the very bottom as well.
Clapper looking to make it 3 wide, coming off of turn number 4. Here comes the 14 down on the low side, as Clapper now up into the top 5 for the first time tonight. Silvestri continues his backslide, getting caught on that outside lane.
Still 3 wide. Bobby Grant, a little bit of contact there with Greg Vial sliding up. This is the first time in about a month that we've seen Bobby Grant out on track in the 14.
Clapper and Sharik playing duck and peek with everybody, with each other's mirrors, trying to get it sorted out. As here comes Grant to the inside of Silvestri now. And don't look now, but that's Mark McCrary, who was thinking about making it 3 wide, thought better of it, is now he's pushing Grant, trying to get some run on the low side to get away from that Toyota.
That's Indy Snake time right now as we're lined up here at the front of this field. Again, going back to Bobby Grant, this is the first time that we have seen him since the dirt race at Bristol.
You're right, it is.
Or actually, it's the first time he's,
been on track in a truck since then.
It's looking like the first time he will complete a race since Bristol. He ran 69 laps at Homestead and 35 laps at Rockingham to open up the playoffs. But other than that, he has not finished a race since Bristol, where he finished third.
Right in front of those guys, that is Vial and Clapper were going after each other, with Clapper having no drafting help. Now it gets back up into line, starts a slipstream going through 1 and 2. And that's one thing you really have to be careful of here, Frank. The draft is so effective here, but you also need you need the truck to handle, and the aero push is a very real thing in these trucks.
Absolutely is. If you're looking up at the top of the screen, some of the names that are highlighted in gold, there are 11 of them in this race here tonight. Those are drivers that are running for the championship. Drivers who are not highlighted in any color are out here to try to play spoiler, as Roger DeBold right now is the highest running driver in the race and the highest running driver who is currently eligible for the championship, as Steven Sharik looks to the inside of David Hall looking for second. Greg Vial looking for third. Those two also playoff contenders.
Vial playing both halves against the middle right now as he's trying to figure out which lane he wants to go with down the backstretch. So far, he's riding with Hall, and that's going to open the door for Clapper to get to his inside, coming through 3 and 4. Clapper with a good head of steam as Sharik now going to slot back in behind David Hall for second and third. Throw a blanket over your top 5 right now as they're starting to pull a gap on Bobby Grant in the 14.
On board with Justin Clapper. 3 laps to go until the end of the stage.
Pit road getting ready to close this time by is DeBold, Hall, Sharik, Vial, and Clapper, your top 5 as they currently sit. DeBold finally has the clean air for the first time tonight. And, I think if you're Daniel Silvestri, you're thinking about what you did during that last pit stop. 2 tires worked for a short term, but they're not the long-term solution here tonight.
Of the drivers that did not take 4 tires, there were only 2. Daniel Silvestri currently running in 8th. Reed Foley 13th. So those 2 have fallen off quite significantly here. Side by side, a lap and a half to go before the second green and white checkered flag is handed out. DeBold with a big block down the bottom of David Hall. It's like super speedway practice, as here comes Steven Sharik to the inside. As Sharik looking for the lead for the first time tonight. On this circulation, it does not look like he's going to get it, though.
By about half a truck, DeBold has the advantage.
5-1
White flag is out for the stage. Is Sharik going to send it going into 1?
He's going to have to. DeBold, though, has the line and has the momentum on the outside line. He's going to be able to get that slingshot. Sharik tries to dive up in front. DeBold tries to cut the draft off. As 3 drivers running for the championship right now, running for this stage victory. Greg Vial looking for 1 more spot, but it looks as though it is going to be Roger DeBold who's going to come off of turn 4. He will dive down to the grass. He will win stage number 2 here at Michigan.
Roger DeBold, Steven Sharik, Greg Vial, David Hall, Justin Clapper, Mark McCrary, Bobby Grant, Ryan Zunk, Daniel Silvestri, and Anthony Burleson getting the final stage points.
Big stage points for those guys, especially battling for the best of the rest. David Hall, the most points out of the best of the rest competitors. As Tony, let's see if we can dial up our stage 2 winner.
Oh, let's find out. Roger DeBold, Tony, and Frank up in the booth. Do you have a copy on us, sir?
Yes, sir.
talk us through that second stage. Just how important is the clean air here tonight at Michigan?
Oh man, the clean air is fantastic. I mean, I feel like I was driving it a lot easier. Is actually getting loose on me there towards the end of the run instead of getting tight. But man, that is a helpless feeling, being out there and seeing everybody in the mirror just getting bigger and bigger. And I was like, oh man, and then trying to swerve around and dirty up their air on the corners and take the draft away on the straightaways. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, Roger, I mean, you definitely had the truck to keep everyone at bay here in the second stage. What are your thoughts moving into the final stage of this race? I'm
going to try to do the best I can, stay up as close to the front as possible. If a couple get around me, it's not that big a deal, because I know we'll all stop the pit again. But, yeah, just try to stay up as close to the front as I can and hope for the best.
All right, Roger, we're going to let you concentrate on your pit stop. We're going to move you back to open one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
So that was your Stage 2 winner, Roger DeBolt, as we see him jump into his pit box.
And I just realized something, Frank, as I'm looking at these trucks coming down pit road. There's going to be quite a few that are going to get dinged for the window banners on the front of these trucks, not having the right contingency logo up there. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go talk to Justin White to make sure that's still a thing. I will be right back, sir.
I think Greg Vielle is the only one of the playoff contending drivers that would.
He's not.
Or at least that I've seen.
Your paints are not correct, sir.
Okay.
Let me go talk to Justin White.
So Vielle is one that I can definitely see. Roger DeBolt is fine. And the rule is that the banner up on top of the windscreen, you have to have it either the ThunderClap logo like Roger DeBolt has, at least on our screen, or you have to have it the way Justin Clapper has with the iRacing default. Either way, if not, there is a penalty that will be served for it. We've seen mainly Tyler Truex Racing has run afoul of that rule over the course of the season. Because again, with some paint schemes I'm apparently not seeing are correct, so there might be a couple of playoff drivers that are missing it. Tommy Allen, if that is the correct paint scheme on his truck, he will probably get dinged as well. Seth Gadjidoris right now, there you see him in 13th position. Greg McConey back out on track, running in 14th. Thomas Aaron back down pit road, trying to repair a lot of right side damage on that number 93.
And just received word from race control. There's a couple guys that are going to get fix-it tickets for the next time we go into the trucks. Incorrect window banners. You can have nothing up there is fine. If you have something other than Camping World or Craftsman logo. Truck, yeah, you have to have the series logo up there. Camping World preferred, but nothing up there is fine.
Next time we are in these trucks will be on the 14th of September. That will be the Charlotte Oval for the beginning of the round of three, the round of 8. Michigan, iRacing Super Speedway, and Darlington this round. Charlotte, Pocono, and Nashville Super Speedway for round 3 before the championship race on the 5th of October at Texas. Tony, why don't you lead us back to green here?
Well, as the pace truck makes that left turn to go down pit road, DeBolt going to have the button as he brings the field into the Geico restart zone, holding down a little bit, waits for it, locks, cocks, and fires. We are back underway as green flag comes back out.
Roger DeBolt gets a very good jump on the restart, as you would expect. Steven Sharik, Greg Vielle battling side by side for the 3rd spot. It's about to be the third spot as Mark McCrary dives to the inside, making it 3 wide.
3 wide in your bid for second is McCrary, getting a lot of help from David Hall right now. Those two Chevys teaming up on the low side as Vial almost got into Sharik coming through 3.
David Hall almost pushed Mark McCrary all the way up through the track as Hall with a little bit of door-to-door contact with Steven Sharik in the 83. Vial pokes his nose down there. Where the heck did Daniel Silvestri come from? He's up to 4th.
He made up 3 spots in one turn. Finally on the fresh set of shoes, and the left sides are helping that truck way more than those rights did that he took during the first stage break, as right now Silvestri sitting in 4th, making a bid for 3rd, as he now slots in. Throw a blanket over your top 4. Here comes Sharik for the lead.
Ryan Zunk looking to that inside as well, trying to make it 3 wide. Steven Sharik nosing out ahead, but the run will go to Roger DeBold. We'll see where they are at the line. They're dead even right now. DeBold just by 1/100 of a second clips that 83 at the line.
Half a truck length to the good for DeBold, as here comes Sharik again. Now it's getting a push from McCrary. McCrary looking to the outside of Sharik, coming down the back straightaway. Sharik able to just slot in just in front of the 88. And here comes the 97 of Silvestri looking to the inside of McCrary, going into 3. Thinks better of it.
Top 3 drivers on track right now are playoff contenders. Bottom 4 playoff contenders: Scott Formosa, who is out of this race; J.D. Woodward, who is out of this race; Thomas Aaron running 17th with heavy damage; and James Sharik, your 4 lowest running playoff drivers at the moment.
The good news is if you're James Sharik and Thomas Aaron, you're at least still running and on the lead lap. As we've got quite a few trucks still on pit road. Matt Garrett, Tyler Chalk, Robert Walton, and Tyler Truax are all having to replace engines.
If Matt Garrett's been on pit road for a half hour, Tyler Chalk 24 minutes and 21 minutes apiece for both Robert Walton in the 66 and the 69 of Tyler Truex. May have stayed in as spotters at this point.
Pretty much, that's what I'm thinking. As Sharik looking to the inside of the bold through 1 and 2 again, as Justin Clapper has gotten by Daniel Silvestri to move himself up into 4th. This is one of the best runs we've seen out of that Recon 63 in quite a while.
This has been the most aggressive run that we've seen for certain. Now, we saw that great run at Richmond where he needed to win in order to get into the playoffs, finished 3rd. Highest finish of the season for Clapper there on the short track. Now running 3rd, just does get clear of Steven Sharik now. Greg McConey now looking to the outside, starting to work his way back forward. We see that right side damaged up as McConey takes that big run and goes from the outside line all the way to the inside, cuts across 4 lanes of traffic.
Good grief. And the 15 of Reed Foley back up into the mix as well. That is an angry pack of wolves sitting right now behind owner of the league, Justin Clapper. And I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't want to be any of those guys in that heavy traffic knowing what's going on as far as the point standings.
So on board with Reed Foley just above the splitter on these trucks. Contact, around goes McConey. Also does the 23 of Zunk. Caution is out just beyond the halfway point. Well, we told you the aggression has been kicking up here.
Well, Burleson absolutely nowhere to go, catches a race truck to the face.
Take a look and see what happened here. That was contact between the 12 and the 26. And the 23, unfortunately, appeared to be a victim of netcode. take a look from above. See McConey push up the racetrack into the that was big net code between the 12 and the 23. And then, as you had mentioned, Anthony Burleson nowhere to go, right into the side of both the 12 and the 23.
Well, it was net code, but it was going to be inevitable.
Yeah.
Contact was about to be made. It just triggered it about maybe 20 feet earlier than it was going to happen.
On board of McConey, there it goes. That may spell the end of McConey's night, at least as far as being competitive. As he takes a couple of hard hits on both ends of that machine.
Zunk's 23 is not looking too healthy either.
No. Everybody except the top 8 coming down pit road now. Anthony Burleson, see already in his box. It's Thomas Aaron. These trucks look like they've been through a war tonight. And, I mean, we still have iRacing Super Speedway to go next week. And you want to talk about fast pace, a lot of bump drafting on a track that's wide enough to fit a tanker.
It'll be my first trip to the iRacing Super Speedway.
Guaranteed to be one heck of a time. There'll be Tony and Dave Regal will take you through that race next week. I will be on baseball duty next Wednesday night. It's the San Diego Padres, who are having a wonderful time right now. I say that about as sarcastically as I possibly can. Take on the San Francisco Giants on Wednesday.
As you do. Little cross-state rivalry there.
So DeBold, Clapper, McCreary, Sharik, Hall, Foley, Gadgedoris, and Seth Gadgedoris, and Burns did not stop here at the halfway point. Everyone else behind them did. Also noticing Cole Gadgedoris not here. That one I know is right.
You are correct. Cole is not in the building.
Cole,
as the lights go out on the Chevy Silverado pace truck, DeBold going to have the button, and McCreary going to be starting to his outside. That's the highest we've seen McCreary restart yet here tonight. You take a look at your top 3, your top 5. DeBold is plus 17, McCreary is plus 12, Clapper is plus 19, Steven Sharik is plus 4, and David Hall plus 19. That's just your top 5, folks.
It's been a race for the big mover here thus far, and being out in front has proven to be where you want to be, as these cars are the only cars right now that you're seeing that are straight enough to be able to be run. 13 cars on track, and I want to say only about 6 or 7 of them with no damage on them in any way, shape, or form. You would have to be very lucky to get out of here without a scratch tonight.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day. As the pace truck peels on off, DeBold has the button as he brings them out of turn number 4 and into the Geico restart zone to restart on the lap 54. 55, 54 now in the books as Clapper and McCreary go door to door going into turn number 1.
Justin Clapper looking really good right now to that inside line, but the question is going to be, watch out for the drivers who came into pit, the first of which would be the 14 of Bobby Grant, playing peekaboo behind the 4 right there. There he is. Seth Gadgedoris battling side by side with David Hall. We'll see how quick the guys on fresh rubber can get out in front of this field again. So there's the 24 of Tommy Allen Jr. We know he knows how to win at these bigger super speedway style races. Winner at Daytona earlier this year to open up the season. Mark McCreary looking to the inside of Justin Clapper for second.
Reed Foley looking to make it 3 wide coming off of turn number 2. Oh, my goodness.
Took the hard left right to the bottom.
Clapper throws the block on McCreary coming down the back chute. It's going to open up Foley to get to McCreary's inside. Tariq right there as well, and don't look now, but here comes that 97 of Silvestri back towards the front.
We talked about, Roger DeBold had mentioned during his interview earlier on after his Stage 2 win, just how vulnerable you feel out in front of this field. It was same feeling at Indianapolis last week. Thomas Aaron able to prevail there.
Clapper making a bid for the lead now on the inside. DeBold trapped on the outside lane as here comes Foley trying to get up to Clapper to push him to the lead. Clapper going to send it going into 3. Clapper with a nose out front.
Mark McCreary on that outside line. Daniel Silvestri can't find a way through. Now he takes the hard left down to the inside line to make it 3 wide, trying to take his run coming out of the corner. Side by side, 3 wide with the second group. Clapper breaks off, goes right to the bottom.
Clapper and Foley looking to work together here. Silvestri not sure where he wants to go yet as DeBold now wrestles the lead away. Clapper going to slot up to throw the block.
Tried to throw the block on McCreary, then tried to come down to get Reed Foley and did. Foley sliding up, just barely covers off the 88 of Mark McCreary, and that will allow Daniel Silvestri to get through on almost all 4 of them.
Half a truck, half a truck, half a truck. First, second, and third as they're now door-to-door going through turn number 1. Silvestri pinches up a little bit on Clapper. Clapper going to have to slot in quickly as that was McCreary with a good head of steam. Now slots in behind Clapper. Clapper now jumps up in front of Foley. Still bumper to bumper down the back chute.
And Roger DeBold is probably wondering where in the heck did he come from, because Silvestri has not been up towards DeBold at all. Now all of a sudden he goes 3 wide to the bottom and finds himself in front of this race.
We've seen some incredible action already here tonight, Frank, as we still have 16 trucks left on the lead lap, but throw a blanket over your top about 10.
Brandon Schumann, the leader of the Justin Clapper fan group right now, in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching tonight, making us part of your Wednesday evening. Tony Trabasso, Frank Marchese here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, bringing you the first round of the round of 12, first race here from Michigan. And if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button because it really helps share these videos with the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss any of the broadcasts we've got coming up here on the station. And Frank, this is the most amazing week for returning broadcasts that I have seen in a while.
Yep, absolutely. We have the Swedish GT3 series coming to you tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time start. Well, a 1:50 p.m. Eastern Time start for that. The return of Sim Racer's Edge coming to you tomorrow as well. First 3 seasons for Sim Racer's Edge were here on SRM. Missed season 4, but they are back for season 5. And then on Friday night, the return of the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series will open up their season in the Xfinity cars at Daytona. And a big, big amount of changes set for that series. Indy cars at Daytona later on this year for those guys.
Loving it. And you haven't lived till you watch bump drafting in an Indy car on iRacing.
6 different vehicles will be driven in that series. All 3 of NASCAR's top-level cars, the ARCA car, the 87s, and the Indy car will be featured in this upcoming season for the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series.
Meanwhile, back on track, we've got right here at Michigan tonight, a battle for 4th, hot and heavy, as McCreary able to wrestle the spot away from Clapper, is now Sharik bombs it across the outside as Clapper's starting to fade just a little bit, giving up to, everybody around him right now still is on the same pit strategy as far as tires go. Daniel Silvestri, the only one that came down under that last caution to get service, is the only one currently sitting in the top 5 that is on the fresher shoes.
Steven Sharik, Mark McCreary about to swap places now. Yep, only 3 drivers in the top 10 that came down pit road on lap 52. That would be Daniel Silvestri leading this race, Bobby Grant in the 14 currently running in 7th, and Tommy Allen Jr. in the 24 running in 9th. Those are the only 3 drivers that came into pit on lap 52 that are occupying the top 10.
Yeah, but take a look at that lead Silvestri's already carved out for himself. Just over a second to the good is Foley into Bold going after each other for second.
That's certainly not going to help these two try to catch up to this number 97. As Daniel Silvestri noted during qualifying, 6 races entered this season, 4 victories on the trot. Reed Foley up into second. Roger DeBold still in the best position as far as playoff contenders go. Highest running of the playoff drivers. Silvestri played spoiler back at Road America in the Xfinity cars a couple of weeks ago. Trying to do it again here. Give these drivers in the playoffs one less chance to lock themselves into the next round.
You know, like we talked about what's coming up this season, or this segment of the playoffs. We're here tonight at Michigan. We go next week to the iRacing Super Speedway, and the cutoff round is at Darlington. Frank, I'll tell you right now, I would rather drink poison than have Darlington decide my fate. I'm moving on to the round of 8.
And Darlington also had a little bit of a track overhaul last week. Greg McConey getting lapped. Only 14 drivers right now currently on the lead lap. Greg Vielle in the 26. There he is. The last of those drivers currently on the lead lap, damaged and out of contention. James Sharik, here he is. Was a part of an earlier incident. He is 5 seconds off the back of Thomas Aaron, who currently runs in 12th. Aaron 5 seconds off the back of Vince Burns, who's at the back of the main pack.
A little bit of separation starting to form between Justin Clapper and Bobby Grant. That's your battle for 6th and 7th, as Clapper almost 3/4 of a second to the good over Grant right now. Grant has Gadgedoris, Tommy Allen with him, and then you're another 3/4 of a second back to David Hall in 10th.
That was Anthony Burleson down low and slow on the bottom line. So while we have a little bit of a breather here, there is the race leader, Daniel Silvestri, a 1.7 second advantage over Stage 1 winner Reed Foley and Stage 2 winner Roger DeBold. You are watching the round of 12, race number 1 from Michigan International Speedway right here on SRM.
Hey, are you tired of your dog dragging in mud into your house? You got water laying in your yard. There's going to be a lot more water laying this spring. Now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342, and we'll be glad to take care of all your outdoor drainage needs.
Oh, you are not, you're not alone, no. Oh, you are not, you're not alone. You are not, you're not alone.
Thanks again, guys, for coming out for demo day here at Chaladon and just going over hip start and how it's going to improve your swing. Hip start is really a key factor in getting that proper downswing. The beauty of hip start is you can change your swing in less than an hour. Just put hip start on and you're going to notice a difference right away.
So before I was introduced to the hip start, my shots were kind of all over the place. Using the hip start, I definitely noticed more consistency and getting that great tactile feedback, knowing when the proper moment to snap your hits has really helped with getting my shot a lot more consistent. And I just feel more confident whenever I go out to the golf course with my friends.
Before you even grab a club out of your bag, we're using hip start to warm up. Put it on and get that feel and just fire the hips. Make sure that hip's turning and make sure the hip's firing through with hip start.
I'm able to hit the ball a lot straighter and a lot farther, and more importantly, consistently hit the ball. What I've seen today, I personally live by and swear by the hip start.
Back live here at Michigan International Speedway. We just saw the pit cycle go for the drivers that did not pit under that last caution just after the stage restarted. As Daniel Silvestri right now on the high line, allowing drivers to head on through. And Tony, we were talking about it. The math it's not adding up in the favor of the drivers who just had to come down pit road right now. I'm sure they were banking on another caution, and with how spread out the field is right now, I don't think it's coming.
I don't think it's coming either, and you know, you're definitely going to have to save here in this final few laps as Foley now peels off to come pit side. It's definitely going to be a tough one if these guys want to try to make it from here. Silvestri, by staying out, should be able to do it when he finally decides to come down, but everybody else is definitely going to have to save at least a couple of laps.
Justin Clapper down, Vince Burns down as well. Daniel Silvestri. Be interesting to see when Silvestri comes in, because Silvestri came into pit and has not had a caution to break up how long he's been able to go, if he is in fact going to go as far as he possibly can. And he's coming in now, about to cross the line with 25 laps to go. Daniel Silvestri down pit road. Thomas Aaron will assume the race lead. And Aaron really doesn't have anything to lose here by running as far as he can with how far off the pace he is right now. Because of that right side damage due to an earlier incident, he may as well run it as dry as he can.
Yeah, run that thing till it's completely bone dry. That is the 37 of Sharik, trying to reel him in right now. It's James Sharik, currently sitting one lap down, looking to unlap himself the hard way. As there he goes, finally getting the clear after coming down for... Again, it's going to be tough. Sharik came down on lap 69. It's going to be very difficult for him to make it from here, as Aaron, though, well off the pace, but 17 seconds to the good over Greg Vial, who also has to come down pit road.
Yep, the trio of Sharik, DeBold, and McCrary have just passed Daniel Silvestri right now. The good news is they have gotten about a 2-second advantage on Silvestri. The bad news is Silvestri's got about 6 or 7 laps worth of better tires and a very fast machine. Reed Foley, there you see him about a second behind Silvestri. He came into pit a lap prior. Thomas Aaron, Greg Vial. There's Vial currently running in second. Vial 17.5 seconds behind Thomas Aaron, completely on the opposite side of the racetrack from where that 97 is right now.
As you do when it's about a 40-second lap delta. But right now, throw a blanket over your effective race lead of Sharik, DeBold, and McCrary, as they've got a 1.25 seconds and losing ground to Daniel Silvestri, who's currently sitting in 6th. By the time this race sorts out and we see who's going to actually be leading, I got to give the advantage right now to Silvestri, because he probably doesn't need to save fuel like Sharik, like DeBold, like McCreary, who all came down on lap 69, Silvestri can just go like hell and let the chips fall where they may, and possibly play spoiler here tonight, taking a possible win in your in scenario away from one of the guys that's still left in the playoffs.
Take a look now really quick at the drivers who came into pit. We'll do the top 10 here. As there it is, the top 10, their pit stop laps. There they are. Lap 52 for Aaron and Vielle under that caution. As here comes Silvestri getting into the mix. From lap 42 to lap 69 with a caution in between. For guys like Sharik, DeBold, Foley, it's going to be interesting to see. Foley, though, good news for Foley. He made it to 74. The other drivers left a little bit in the tank then, so they might be able to make it the rest of the way.
For their sake, we can only hope, as that was Greg Vielle, who just got passed up. So McCreary now sits in current second, but that's your effective race lead as he and Sharik drag race down the back straightaway. Foley looking to make it 3 wide.
Yep, Foley got brought right back into this mix. Foley does make it 3 wide. Door-to-door contact with the 88 of McCreary, sending McCreary sideways. McCreary does hold on to it. But Reed Foley sensing a possible race victory, taking no prisoners, looking for his first win since the second round of the season at Phoenix.
Foley and Silvestri both looking to play spoiler here tonight, as Steven Sharik hot and heavy in this playoff battle, as he's got DeBold and McCreary, 2 other playoff contenders, right on him, as throw blanket over your effective top 5, as Aaron still has to come pit side, and that 17-second gap is now down to just under 12.
Thomas Aaron doing what he can to try to extend himself, give himself a little bit more time out in front of this field. If the caution were to come out right now, Greg McConey would be the one to get his lap back, running in 15th, a lap down at the moment.
With as much damage as on that number 12 right now, I don't think he's going to be able to do much with it should he get his lap back.
Well, it's always that thought of you get a green-white checkered, last lap wreck, you're on the lead lap, you get a couple free spots. Can't really do that if you're a lap down.
As the duo of Foley and Silvestri start to pull away from your top running chase contenders, Steven Sharik, Roger DeBold, and Mark McCreary, 4th, 5th, and 6th, are about 3/4 of a second behind that battle for your effective race lead.
It's a lost opportunity there for Sharik and DeBold. Those guys content to run the outside line. Meanwhile, the 15 of Foley and the 97 of Silvestri running the bottom. I don't care if you're more comfortable. Try to save fuel and draft behind those guys. And unfortunately, they've missed that opportunity now as they're a second ahead. James Sharik down pit road.
And Sharik comes down for his money stop. His brother right now currently rides in 4th, as we're still waiting for Thomas Aaron, who the lead is now down to just 8.25 seconds, as Foley and Silvestri are just cranking them off right now.
On board with Reed Foley right now. This will be the battle for the race lead here between the Stage 1 winner and the driver who has seemed quickest here tonight, Daniel Silvestri. Again, Tony, as you mentioned, did a hard reset on his system, missed qualifying at the start in the back. Hasn't affected him, and there you see that dot up there going down into turn 1. That's Thomas Aaron.
That is Thomas Aaron, as the lead is now down to 7 seconds and losing quickly as they both.
Greg Vielle, sorry to cut you off there. Greg Vielle goes sliding into pit road, almost brought out the caution. Did not we stay green?
It's definitely going to be an unsafe pit entry. Good grief, as he tagged that curb. Wow.
There's Thomas Aaron.
just annihilated the front of that truck on the curbing that separates the pit wall from the pit lane.
Take a look at it here really quick. Vielle coming down into pit road, a little too hot. And yep. Oh, hard hit.
Good thing that wasn't the super late model series, because we would have seen the right front suspension sheared off.
Thomas Aaron slowly through 3 and 4. Not coming in. I can't think that this is the scenario that Thomas Aaron's trying to play out, but maybe trying to go the rest of the way on fuel. I don't think he can do it, number one. And number two, if he's doing that to try to get one less pit stop to try to win this race, he's only got 4 seconds left to cover and 14 laps to go.
And at the pace that Foley and Silvestri are cranking off, they were a full 2 3/4 quicker that last time by. Aaron was a 42.02, whereas Foley and Silvestri both went 40.74. And Thomas Aaron's in.
Yep, there you go. There's Thomas Aaron down pit road. That right there, that little gap that you saw there, that was the time between Foley to Thomas Aaron, 1.4, 1.6, 1.2 seconds. The difference between the two is there we see Greg Vielle coming out of pit road now in the number 26 in a race where about 3/4 of the playoff field have seen some sort of issues tonight. This is now your battle for the race lead. Of the
Foley and Silvestri have carved out a 3-second gap back to that third place battle with Sharik DeBold, Clapper, and McCreary now.
Justin Clapper has moved his way right up into this battle here, about 0.3 of a second faster than the trucks around him. So Clapper looking to be on pace for what would be his second podium of the season. In that number 63. Of the playoff drivers coming into this race, J.D. Woodward out, Scott Famosa out, James Sharik crash damage, Ryan Zunk crash damage, Greg McConey crash damage, Seth Gadjadoris.
Currently sits in 10th, or in the 9th, I mean.
That's crash damage on his machine, on that outside line, on the outside part of that truck, the right side fender.
Ryan Truex, unfortunately, did not show up tonight, so that's going to hamper him moving into the next 2 rounds of this playoff series.
Steven Sharik looking good. Greg Vielle, crash damage. Mark McCreary looking good. Thomas Aaron, crash damage. Roger DeBold looking good. And as Tony mentioned, Truex not here. So all but 3 of the playoff drivers have run into some sort of problems here tonight. And here are the 3 that managed to stay clean.
Incredible. As here we go. Battle for the lead. Silvestri looking to the inside on Foley. Coming through 1 and 2. Foley went to the way top line, trying to carry as much momentum as he could. And these 2 guys, we figured, should be okay for fuel, considering they came in on lap 74 and 75, respectively. Sharik, DeBold, and McCreary were not so sure about, as they all came down on lap 69 and 68. Clapper, currently sitting in 5th, should be able to make it home from here if we go to natural, as we are 9 to go.
Seth Gadjadoris is incredibly slow right now. I guess trying to save fuel to try to get that Mobil 1 number 4 home. Steven Sharik, Roger DeBold, Mark McCreary, and Seth Gadjadoris right now, the only 4 playoff contenders that are running in the top 10. Reed Foley in the race lead, battling away with Daniel Silvestri. Both of these guys going for race wins and race wins alone.
And you got to think with Silvestri especially what could have been, as he podiumed his first 4 starts with the series.
His lowest finish is 5th.
Yeah. What could have been if he would have shown up or been able to show up for more races? As now Silvestri finally wrestles the lead away from Foley. Foley going to cross him over down the 3M back straightaway here at Michigan. Sending it into turn number 3. Silvestri with the advantage.
Wins on debut at Charlotte from the pole. Wins his second race at Martinsville from the pole. Starts 25th at Vegas, finishes 3rd. 25th at Vegas, 25th at Homestead, wins. Takes the pole at Rockingham, finishes 5th. Pole to win at Road America. That is Daniel Silvestri's line on the season.
He's putting this league on notice. That's for darn sure that next season he's going to be one of the trucks to beat, or one of the vehicles to beat every time out.
And for Reed Foley, started his season at Phoenix with a win. 7th at Auto Club from a 31st place starting spot. Out at Atlanta, 26th. Out at Richmond, 15th. Finished 4th at Rockingham in his last race. So still a pretty solid line for Reed Foley as well. 3 top 10s in 5 starts. For the man who was in the number 1, has now put a 5 behind it.
And you know, that's the biggest thing. You got to remember that a lot of these guys, this isn't just their Wednesday night get together, and you know, a lot of folks have a softball league or a bowling league that they get into on the corporate level. These guys work in the NASCAR garages, the NASCAR shops, the tire distributors for NASCAR, the wheel distributors for NASCAR, the shock manufacturers, the folks that make the rear end housing. These guys work on these things, and this is their, and I'm using this as an air quote here, their Wednesday night bowling league. So, you know, the fact that, you know, Foley has been busy in the real world of motorsport, you know, trying to do the pit crew practices, because he goes over the wall on Saturday and Sunday. And, you know, he hasn't been able to make a lot of the races this season so far, as the battle really heating up now. 4th, 3rd is Steven Shriek and Roger DeBold door to door.
3 drivers in pit road, playoff drivers down pit road. Ryan Zunk down pit road. Greg McConey, James Shariq also down pit road. James Shariq has been down pit road for 9 minutes right now as we run side by side up here. That number 38 and the 83. Side by side, DeBold the winner of stage 2. Shariq has been up here the entire night. There's the 26 of Greg Vielle with a great run of steam on the outside line.
The only problem is Vielle is currently sitting a lap down.
In 14th.
So Clapper can let him go. As, oy, that was close. Another coat of paint, and Shariq and DeBold would have been in trouble, as we are currently sitting 3 to go.
Foley and Silvestri swapped the race lead yet again. Foley back to the race lead. Now Silvestri back to the race lead coming out of turn 2. And going back to what Roger DeBold had said during the stage break, it's a very vulnerable feeling being out in front at this racetrack. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are going, no, here, you take it. No, okay, no, you take it.
Uh-oh.
Steven Shariq side by side with Roger DeBold. Justin Clapper falling back a little bit, not in danger of falling out of the top 5 at the moment. Side by side racing between Roger DeBold and Steven Shariq.
Lap and a half left is Shariq and DeBold going after each other as Foley looks to the inside, gets into Silvestri going into 3.
Contact, but both of them stay very close to each other. Foley on the inside will take the race lead and is now out to about a half a second.
White flag in the air. We are racing back to checkers.
Reed Foley, that little bit of contact going into turn 3, that might have been net code as well. We will take a look at it after the race. but Reed Foley, the winner of stage 1, Silvestri up on the wheel trying to pull that gap back in, and is doing so very successfully, but coming through turns 3 and 4, a little bit of contact does it, a bump and run here at Michigan. Both drivers stay straight. Reed Foley comes out of turn 4, will stay up on the racetrack, dives now to the grass. Reed Foley takes the win here at Michigan, the first race in the round of 12. Your highest playoff finisher, Roger DeBold.
By only a truck length over Steven Sharik. And those two guys put on an amazing battle for the last almost 20 full laps. Mark McCrary finally able to get by Justin Clapper to wrestle 5th away from him. Clapper, Burns, Allen, Hall, and Seth Gadjadoris rounding out your top 10. And Frank, let's go back and take a look at what did happen with a lap and a half to go.
And we'll see it again going down into turn 3. Oh yeah, that was net code. We didn't even need to see the proper view to see that was all net code. This is on board of Reed Foley. Foley getting loose in 3 and 4. In 1 and 2, pardon me. There goes Silvestri. It's all going to happen right down here in turn 3. Foley with the big dive. Or this is actually a lap before. We saw that, and now here's, yep. I mean, it looked like a little push, but the way the 97 should not have kicked off of the 15 the way he did in the real world.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a net code issue. But
we'll now go to the top 3. And Tony, I believe you have our race winner, Reed Foley, in with you right now.
Reed Foley, the same way you started your season, coming into Michigan, front row starting position, coming home with the victory here tonight. Talk us through that last lap and a half.
Oh man, I was racing with Daniel there, and just chasing him down as hard as I could. And he'd slip up a little bit, and I'd slip up, and then just going off in that corner, I knew I had a run. I was trying to wait to the last lap, and I was just kind of waiting for my move. And I had such a big run. Like, if I don't take it now, I don't know I'll ever get a chance. And I went low, and honestly, just, this game doesn't allow for any error. I think we ended up net coding a little bit. I don't think we actually made contact, but I still hate that it feels like I kind of moved him to win. That's not really the goal.
Well, that's kind of the way we saw it too, is that I could have probably put my wheelchair between you two guys when all hell broke loose. But again, Reed, playing spoiler here tonight, stealing a race from one of the playoff contenders. How important to you was clean air tonight?
Well, honestly, I built my entire strategy tonight around tires. That first pit stop, we took no tires. So I ran the first 40 laps on the one set, wanted to have plenty of leftovers in case we had a short run. But, clean air was important because if not, as the run got on, the truck definitely got tight. The draft was insane on fresh tires. It was just like running a super speedway race. So it was, it was important to just be out front and have a good strategy, which clearly me and Daniel had the right one because we were right there together.
Well, the draft was important here tonight at Michigan. It's going to be the same level of importance next week as we go to the iRacing Super Speedway. And your thoughts going into that event next week?
I've actually never raced there, so expecting it to be wild and chaotic, probably a little bit like tonight.
All right, Reed, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate with your team?
Oh, man, I appreciate everybody that works on this, Race Control, Justin White, you guys doing the broadcast. Appreciate, Justin Clapper for inviting me. And, just thankful for a good league to run in on a Wednesday night.
All right, Reed Foley, your winner here tonight at Michigan. Best of luck to you next week at the iRacing Super Speedway.
Thank you, sir.
And Frank, I believe you've got the man who was our biggest mover tonight with you now.
I do at that. Daniel Silvestri, first of all, you came up very, very close. What happened there with 2 laps to go, going through 3 and 4?
Well, I just think it was iRacing netcode. Nothing that really was his fault. We were racing hard, and I think it kind of just made a mistake on my part. I was riding behind him, and when he slipped up, I took the lead, and I should have waited. If the draft was so big and just letting people stick with you, I had better tires than he did, but he was able to stick around with that draft, and obviously just got close enough to get to me. And yeah, it happens. I had a lot of fun though. I think I played strategy, almost perfectly, and should have won the race. But you're just gonna put that in your mental notebook, and when you come back to race like this again, I'll remember.
Now, he had spoken about that tire strategy was his biggest point of emphasis here tonight. You both did the same on that first pit stop at the stage. You guys didn't take tires on that first pit stop. What was your thought behind that?
Well, I was realizing with the draft that I could probably stick around, and you never know. It's nice to have a set of tires. I mean, we didn't really need to. I had a set left. I mean, if a caution would have come out, it would have been perfect, anyways. But, I just did it as a security. I kind of just wanted to. I kind of realized really early, at least when I went on off of tires, and I was on that second stage on old tires. I realized how big of a tire difference there was from those who did and those who didn't. So, when I had a chance to go get tires early in this last stage, I took it and obviously rocketed through the field. So, that was just something you just try, and that's what I really do in the first 2 stages is try things, figure out a strategy for the end.
We head to the iRacing Super Speedway next week. You won the middle race of the last playoff round, but we know super speedways could be a wild card, and that is about the biggest and baddest wild card there is. What are your thoughts going into the iRacing Super Speedway next week?
That's kind of just a dice roll, and whoever gets lucky wins the race. That racetrack's so big and obviously so fast. It's kind of just there's not really you just got to get lucky. That's how you win those plate races and put yourself in the right position. So that'll just be the goal, is probably ride around and wait for the end and then be in the right position at the end.
All right, anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Just got to thank Sweet Tarts for coming on the car, and my boys and my roommates for cheering me on in the couch just outside my room.
There you go.
All right, Daniel Silvestri, your second place finisher tonight, bud. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
7 races in the series and has not finished outside of the top 5 in any of them. We now head to our Stage 2 winner and the highest playoff finisher tonight. Tony, you're with Roger DeBold right now.
I dare say that we've finally broken the announcer's curse with Roger finishing on the podium after talking to us during the race. So, Roger, highest placing playoff contender. Talk us through that last segment, and you and Sharik were just going after each other from the time the green flag came out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good battle between the two of us there. I'm, glad that he could race me clean and we could settle it clean and no issues. Yeah, I just that last segment there, I was torn on whether I wanted to pit as early as I could and try to make it, hope for a caution or something, or wait until the last second so I had the newest tires and didn't know when a caution was going to come out. So just pitted a couple laps too early, and I think that's where we ran out of a little bit of speed. But that was a great finish, great points night, and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Well, we go from one track where drafting is a premium to another one next week, and the iRacing Super Speedway for the second race of the round of 12. What are your thoughts going into that monster next week?
I'm just going to try to keep doing what I'm doing and maximize the points and try to keep the nose clean and rolling forward and just see where we end up. I've been pretty good at just points racing, and I think that's one of my biggest biggest things I got going for me. Not super fast when it comes time to close and get the wins, but I'm going to try to just points my way into the Final Four, I guess.
All right, Roger DeBold, again, congratulations on a podium here in the opening race of the round of 12. Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate?
Just thank Clapper for putting the league on. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast. And thanks to Sharik for driving me clean there. I really appreciate it.
Very much so. Roger DeBold, congratulations. We'll see you next week in the iRacing Super Speedway.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, Frank, we got another one in the books, my friend.
Yep, that we do. And another fantastic race here with the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. And to wind down what has been this day, again, it's been a wild race, and that's what we expected coming in here, and we saw effectively what we would expect to see at a super speedway race here tonight, Tony. It's just guys running in a pack, draft being at a premium. You don't want to be the leader when it comes down to the very end of it, and it all played out here tonight.
It did, and you mentioned it. We saw very similar to what we're probably going to see next week as far as plate tracks go, and having to you have to know where the arrow is off on the car in front of you, and whoever can play the draft the best next week at the iRacing Super Speedway, that's going to really be a deciding factor moving forward here. And again, there's so many guys that are looking to play spoiler on this round of 12 that they're really putting these guys behind the 8 ball. As now there's one in the books that not a playoff contender has won. Moving into the next 2 rounds, it's do or die for a lot of these guys right now.
It absolutely is. And we'll take a look now at the final results here for tonight's race. Your race winner, Reed Foley, Daniel Silvestri, and Roger DeBold. Your top 3, Roger DeBold, the highest finishing playoff driver of the 11 that entered here tonight. Steven Sharik and Mark McCreary, 2 more playoff drivers rounding out the top 5. Those are the only 3 playoff drivers that were not involved in an incident in some way, shape, or form here tonight. Justin Clapper, Vince Burns, Tommy Allen, David Hall, and Seth Gadjadouris, your top 10. Thomas Aaron, Bobby Grant, Stephen Luschinski, Greg Vial, and Ryan Zunk, your top 15.
Greg McConey coming home in 16th. 17th going to James Sharik, Anthony Burleson, Jake Waltman, and J.D. Woodward rounding out your top 20. And we did receive word that Waltman will be parked for the remainder of this season and put on at least a 15-race probation to start next season. Trials and tribulations continue for the 06. Roger Walton and Tyler Truax, 21st, 22nd. Scott Famosa, Knight, he just soon forget. Same goes for Dustin Stallings, Tyler Chalk, and Matt Garrett, who round out your finishing field tonight.
And for the playoff contenders, the 4 lowest finishing, Scott Famosa, J.D. Woodward, James Sharik, and Greg McConey. Those 4 will have a lot of work to do and will need to stay clean in these next couple of races if they want a chance to move on to the round of 8. Coming up here on ESPN, there it was. Yep, that's it.
Put another $1 in the jar.
Yep, that's $1 in the jar for me. Coming up on SRM, the Svenska E-Racing Ligan, the GT3 Series for the Swedish Racing League, will be at Suzuka coming up tomorrow afternoon at 1:55 p.m. Eastern Time. After that will be Sim Racer's Edge tomorrow night, the opener of Season 5 at the Auto Club Speedway. That will be a 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time start. Then on Friday will be the Monsters of Speed New Gen Cup Series round number 4 from Road America. The Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series in the Xfinity cars at Daytona will open up their season on Friday as well. That will be a 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time start. On Saturday will be the Super Late Model AI Series, round number 15 from Hickory. And boy, oh boy, what a race that was. You're not going to want to miss it. and the ISNF Cup Series round number 6 from Daytona this Sunday, as well as the Coke Zero Sugar 200 at Daytona for Sunday night NASCAR. So a lot of racing still to come here this weekend. But for my broadcasting partner, Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you all next week from the Tony and Dave will see you next week from the iRacing Super Speedway. Good night, everybody.